Hey there everyone, this is Mystic Fish and welcome to episode 7 of our Factorio series on building a cellular megabase. Last episode we did some work to set up the builder train drop-off and pickup, and we got a stem cell blueprint here like this. One of the things that I actually realized is it's a little weird that the stuff is actually outside the grid, and it would probably be easier if we offset this by 100 and called this minus 72, like that. And then I think that means it's a little easier for us to find where the thing goes because it's closer to our cursor. Okay, so we fixed that. Let's see. So I posed, actually just after uploading episode 6, I posted a comment on the video that said, oh, I watched the video, and I realized there's a couple things that we could fix right away just from watching it. One of them is that this logic is wrong. This needs to be strictly less than, because it will become 1 once we have seen a train with some content on it. Now, somebody asked and said, well, wait a minute, what happens if we disable the train while it's at the station? And the good news is that the train will stay until it finishes unloading, assuming that it has a schedule that looks something like, come here until you're empty, for example. So that will actually work out to be okay. Then the other thing actually is that this is just way too complicated here. The main thing that we care about as far as injecting the logistics robots is just that we have 50 idle robots. So there's a much easier way to test that, which is what we can do is the following. But I think to avoid a race condition, we want to say that we've seen that for 3 straight ticks. And so we can do that as follows. Which is, we can say, okay, we do need the statistics here from this guy. And so here we're looking for the available construction box Z. So we want Z, where are you, to be greater than or equal to 50. And then if we've seen that, then we're going to output the logistics bot. Okay, now here is the fun part. What we're going to do is we're going to connect the output to here on a green wire, and then we're going to output the same thing to this next comment. Actually, let's reverse these to this next one. And this one is going to say, if logistics robot is greater than 0, then output a logistics robot. And then we're going to take the green wire from here into the same combinator. And then I'll feed the red one in here. And then we're going to do the exact same thing here. And we'll take the green wire from here to here. And so the enabled condition will basically be that that we want if the logistics robot is greater than or equal to 3. And so, all right, so what is happening here? So circuit networks have there's a signal propagation delay, right? So what will happen is all of these will be 0, as they are now, right? No output signals on any of these. And what we will do is, once we get to 50 bots here, then this will give us 1 logistic bot. On the next tick, this one will give us a logistics bot. This one will continue giving us a logistics bot as long as we still have 50 idle robots. And then on the third tick, this one will also kick in. So what this is essentially saying is, for 3 straight ticks, we had idle robots, and I think that should just cover us for race conditions in case so that we don't, for example, run into something like, oh, in one tick we finished putting them all in, none of them got allocated to anything. And so that just means we get a little bit of stability in here. And we need to see that we have auto robots for 3 straight ticks before we trigger putting this in. Right, so that will make sure that that is done. Okay, then the next thing that we can do is we can just snug these in a little bit, like so. I guess we can put you there. Okay, very good. Now, somebody else actually asked a great question, which was, okay, wait a minute. Isn't the blueprint for the mining cell going to include a new builder train? And yes, that is the intent. And so the natural place to build the new builder train would be right here, waiting to like go get filled up. And so the problem is, okay, well, if that's in the blueprint, wouldn't you like end up building the train here and then this one wouldn't be able to leave? And yeah, that's potentially a problem. I think there's actually a pretty simple solution to it, which is that we'll actually just build the new builder train up here, which is totally fine. It will be empty, and then it will just be able to go out once we activate things. Okay, very good. The other thing that I think we want to do here is we want to have. I think we actually want a loudspeaker here, which I don't have. Okay. We're going to come back around and do that later. But I think it'd be neat to have an alert here that said, hey, construction is done. Because the trains will be constructed. They can be constructed with a schedule and fuel and everything, but we'll still have to come in and manually start them. And so we'll need, I think we're going to want a little alarm to go off once construction is complete, which is the same thing we're using to trigger inserting the logistics pods. So, okay, great. All right, this time around, I think it's time to finally get into designing the manufacturing part here. And for this, we're going to use the factory planner. Let's clear this out. That's just some background work. We'll get into it in a minute. And so I'm going to come into the preferences for Factory Planner, and I'm going to say the default should be Productivity Module 3 here. And I think that it's important to get as much productivity out of these as we can, primarily so that we reduce the rate at which we have to request ore. So I do think productivity modules are going to be important here. Unfortunately, that means that and I think we're also going to want speed modules as well, so that the overall factory that produces this stuff can be relatively compact, because we don't have a ton of space in here, and so we want to be able to strike a balance with the things that we're building. And so I think here's what I think we're going to do. So we're going to create a new plan here called mining cell. And what are we going to stick in here? So I think what we want is the thing we're probably going to need the most of are no, not these productivity module 3s, and I think let's just shoot for 1 per minute, which to be honest is not that much, but these are so modules take so much to build. I think that let's start with this and see what we get into. I think let's look for a proportion. I think 3 productivity modules for every 4 speed modules might be right. And then beacons are also something that are slow to build. And for these, I think it's okay to say half the speed modules, right? Because each beacon will have 2 speed modules in it. So I think we want something that looks approximately like that. Okay. After that, I think the next longest thing is going to be the logistics bots. Those are going to be the thing that take the longest to build. And so for those, I think let's figure out what we want here. I think there's a couple possibilities here. One possibility would be that we just build sort of a modest amount that allows the cell to get going. And then if it ends up needing more, we can ask it to just manufacture more bots. I kind of like that. That will save us a little space in here. And so I'm going to just shoot for 10 per minute. And so we're going to shoot for the idea that, and I think these are the long poles in the tent here for manufacturing. And so I think we want to try to shoot for around an hour to build everything that goes into the blueprint. And we'll have to double check this and see that it works out. And we might say like, oh my gosh, like that seems like a long time. But remember, like even at the beginning, we're already planning to have at least 4 of them, right? Like we have one for copper, we're going to need one for iron, we're going to need one for coal, we're going to need one for stone. So that's going to be 4. And so if each one can make a mining cell's worth of stuff in an hour, and we've got 4 of them, on average, we could build a new mining cell every 15 minutes. And as we add additional mining cells, we'll be able to add mining cells even faster. This is kind of the idea of this sort of like self-scaling base that I want to do with the cellular megabase. So because as we build more of these, they just sort of the overall throughput and rate at which we can build them gets faster. I'm not too worried if it takes a whole hour to sort of build the first one. It's going to be a little slow to get the first 4 up and running as a result, or at least the first one. But I think that will be worth it. So, okay. So we're going to shoot for that. Now, I think most of the rest of the stuff that's in here is much faster to build. And so, for example, like I think the herringbone, right, has about 1,000 rails in it, right? And so let's see. So if we said we want 1,000 rails in 60 minutes, that's 16, let's call it 17 per minute. And so even if I added a target which said I want 17 rails per minute, let's see, we'll put this one in here. We can see it's like even less than 1 assembler 3. And in fact, I bet it's even less than 1 assembler 2. Yeah, so super easy to build most of the rest of it, I think. So that's good stuff. So let's get rid of this. Let's clear this out for right now. So let's just see what this part looks like. Let's add all of these requests in here. And now we have to click through and add the rest of the stuff. So we start with the sort of the highest level stuff. We click on that, and that produces the constituent parts. We need this. We need this. Let's see. Processing units are pretty high. Sulfuric acid. We need sulfur. We need red circuits. We need engines. We need plastic. We need... The rest of these can be made from iron. So we need that amount of iron. That turns to the cable. Or, sorry, the copper. Then let's put in the copper and the iron. Not going to worry about the water and this stuff, right? Because that stuff's going to arrive by train, but it will tell us how much we're going to get, how much we're going to need to get in. So let's start with this. We are going to need to produce. Okay, so now I'm going to turn on the matrix solver because that's what we need for sort of handling the cracking and oil processing and stuff. So let's start with we need to make lubricant. Very good. We need to make heavy oil. So now the question is, what do we want to use here? We'll see a little bit more about this. I actually want to use coal liquefaction. And for this, we're going to use heavy oil as the unrestricted item. Okay, now we've got byproducts up here. And so we need to do something with this. The reason I like coal liquefaction is it's a little easier, I think, to balance it with cracking in a way that we can balance which of the 3 oils we need and a little more easily. And so we'll get back to that in a minute. Okay, so we need to consume the heavy oil byproduct. We'll do that by cracking it. We'll consume the light oil byproduct by cracking it. And then we'll need steam. Okay. So, great. Now, let's take a look at where we landed on this stuff, okay? I think what we want to do is we want to add modules to some of these things that where we've got, as I said, we want to use productivity modules, I think, just about everywhere we can. But we want to add, essentially we can add speed modules to reduce the number of machines we need and thereby reduce the number of productivity modules that we need to produce. So I think what we want to do, by default, most things can get 8 beacons around them with 2 speed modules each. And so, for example, this brings us down to 0.4. I think we could, that means we could probably get away with just 4 here. I want to just see the minimum amount that we could get away with. If we do 3, okay, that's all the way up to 1. I want to have a fractional amount just to make sure we have it covered. Okay, so that covers that one. Let's see. Ooh, there's 2 of these. I guess it's worth figuring out if we can reduce that to under 1. We certainly can. And interestingly, we only need 1 beacon to make that work. Yeah, okay. Probably the same thing here. 1 beacon here. We're gonna end up, some of these are gonna end up having more beacons than that on them, but that's okay. Okay, that's almost, we're gonna have to have 2, we're gonna have to have 2 blue circuit ones, but that's okay. We don't need any beacons for these. Obviously, we definitely need them for the red circuits, so let's get them in there. We're going to need some for the engines. Maybe we just need 1 here. Yep. Let's get 1 beacon in here. Is that enough to drop us under? Nope. That's all we need. 2? No? Maybe 4? Nope, not quite. How about 6? Okay, 6 drops us under. Very good. We want to drop this down as well. So that, so let's drop this, let's try 2 here for the steel. That gets us exactly, so let's do 3 so that we're under. We definitely need it for the green circuits. Okay, so we're still going to need 2 green circuits. We don't need any for the gears. We will need it for the copper cable. We definitely need it for the copper. Okay. We are going to need it for the iron. Okay. And then we don't need it for the lubricant. Now, for a refinery, refineries are big enough that we can get 10 around them. So I'm a little curious. If we do that, that drops it to half. If we'd make this 5, what if we do 5? That's exactly 1. So I think we're probably going to need to do at least 6 here. So we'll probably need some more of those. Let's try 4 for the cracking. This 5. Okay. Let's do 8 for this cracking. Okay. And 1 boiler. Okay. I think this is approximately what we want. And so we're down to, let's see. So how many total productivity modules does this require? So this requires, let's see, 4, 8, 11, 15, 18, 21, 25, 29, 32, 34, 38, 42, 46, 40, oh no, we got more than that of these. All right, okay, I'm gonna say that we have somewhere between 60 and 70 in here. I'll go add these up offline. And so this is maybe about around what we need for an hour. Okay, so we're gonna start with this. Now, what I want to do is, and actually I have it here. What I did was I took a blueprint, and we can open this up here. I took a blueprint that had like a bunch of stuff in it, a bunch of beacons, a bunch of assemblers, chem plants, refineries, things like this, all the miners, but just a bunch of stuff in there. I primarily just wanted it so that I could get a list of stuff here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, for example, this wants 721 rails, and we're going to shoot for an hour for each of these, right? So 721 divided by 60 is going to be 12, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now add products here for each of these things. Okay, so I'm going to do that. We're going to add this in. And we're going to do that, and I'm going to I'll be back after I've just copied all that stuff in. So you don't have to watch me clicking around in the factory planner here. All right, stay tuned. Okay, we are back. I have loaded up a bunch more demand in here, and so let's go ahead and start making these requests. These are all things that I think are showing up in the overall blueprint. I did add a speaker because we talked about wanting those, so maybe we'll just make one here as we go. That would be kind of neat. In addition to things that are going to show up, maybe asking about what's with the steam turbine and the boiler. We'll see this when we get into building out the oil processing, but we may, in order to balance the oil out, we can sometimes end up with an excess of petroleum gas. And so we need a way to take the excess petroleum gas and burn it off. And so what we'll do is we'll have a boiler hooked up to a steam turbine surrounded by radars and not otherwise on their own electric grid, so that if there's any additional petroleum gas, we can successfully burn it off. I did remember to build the construction robots. I thought it would be useful to include repair packs. Even though we're not going to load them on the train, I don't think. We can, have each cell make its own repair packs. It would be good to just produce some, I think, in case there needs to be repairs. And then the last thing is rocket fuel. So we are going to have 4 additional trains in the blueprint, right? A new builder train and 3 new mining trains. And so each one of them can hold 3 stacks of rocket fuel. So that's 30 rocket fuel each for a total of 120. So 2 per minute on rocket fuel should cover us. Okay, so let's go ahead and start adding all this stuff in. And I expect to run into a particular error, especially if I think we have to add that. Well, that added all of them. Nice. Wait, what just happened there? These are all zeros. I think I need to take that I need to take this one off. Okay, now it all came back. Interesting. Okay, so we need to do all of this stuff. Does this, what is in a speaker? Does it need wood? Actually, this is a good question. Do speakers need wood? Good question. They do not. Okay, great. All right, let's finish getting the rest of these in. Okay, now we have some extra stuff in here that we have to break down a little further. We need steel chests to be broken down. We need iron sticks to be broken down. We need fast inserters to be broken down. This guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. And we're going to make most of our solid fuel from light oil. Okay, so this is where I think we have ended up. Now, the other thing is that I think will be good for us to note here is that we could, now on the one hand, we could up our rate of production of speed modules. I'm a little curious to find out, we may come back and tweak this a little bit to see if we can build things a little faster. But for a lot of these things, especially, I think especially things like, well, not these, not the ones that need beacons, but some of these other ones that are slower, we can get away with assembling machine 2s, I think, for a lot of them. So things that are not not beaconed like this, and those will just be a lot cheaper for us to manufacture with. So that's good stuff. Yeah, these are all like minimal. This is sort of what I was saying at the beginning. These are all going to require minimum sort of production power to make all this stuff. Okay. No, we just did that one. Okay, just put these all in. And then we'll do some high-level layout. We're gonna, I don't know, we'll have to check timing here on our episode to see where we're at, to see if we have time to lay it all the way out. But I think this will give us a good start. This will be at least the plan that we are going to work against. And that's good stuff. Okay. Just finish clicking these through here. Ooh. All right. Fortunately, most of this stuff is cheap. So, I think it was good that we started with the up front just with the module and beacon and bot production that we needed. Okay, and speaking of which, we did add construction bots in here. So we should just make sure that we have enough throughput on flying robot frames. Oh, look at that. Okay, but we don't need speed modules for those, so I think that's okay. And we'll leave that as a module 3. I guess we leave this as 3 because it uses beacons, and that lets us save at least somewhat on resources, and I think that's overall worth it, just to reduce train traffic overall and train demand. Okay, great. Now, where did we land on? I'm curious where we landed on. Okay, not too bad. So we definitely upped our need for copper and iron smelting, and definitely steel smelting, but these are still sort of reasonable numbers here. We are just over 1 refinery here, but I think we can fix that by bumping this up. Okay, that's good. These all have 8s. This one will probably end up needing 8s now. Okay, that brings us down. This is right at 1. This will probably end up becoming an 8. What else are we at? These are already at 8s. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. And we don't have speed modules on these. Good question whether we want some. I guess, we can probably... It's probably worth it to have these go a little faster. That means we only need 1 of these. And we could similarly do the same thing here. Just 1 of these. And we can also do it here. Okay, great. That brings everything down to mostly 1. Most of the things now have only 1 machine on them. All right, so let's just talk a little bit. I want to do sort of broad layout. So I want to start with the oil refining. And so where's our refinery? Our refinery, no, that's the thing making the refinery. We need the refinery doing the coal liquefaction. Here it is. Okay, so it needs at least 8 beacons around it. And so let's, I have no beacons in inventory, which that would be a problem. Fortunately, I have my handy dandy supply train over here, which I will, let's grab some beacons. Okay. All right, now, I think what I want to do is I actually want to use 2 refineries, and so let's see. Let's figure out the placement for these a little bit. I think these can come up this far, and let's get speed modules in these. Yep. Okay. Then let's get our refinery. We can come down to 1, 2. Okay, so this will be doing coal liquefaction. So this is the main refinery. And let's see. We can do that. Now, we already figured out that we don't actually need... We actually only need 8. I think we want all 5 of these here because we'll put some other stuff underneath it, which means that we can pick these couple up here. All right. Now, oh, and we need to put modules in this guy. Okay, great. Now, the other thing that I want to do is I want a second refinery. Okay, so let's... all right, I'm gonna explain this in a minute when we get into doing the... But I'm gonna do a second one with advanced oil processing. And this is not going to be the main one. Its main goal will be, if we're really short on petroleum gas, then we'll do this, because the advanced oil processing recipe, right, if we take a look at it, right, it produces mostly petroleum gas, whereas coal liquefaction produces mostly heavy oil. And so because heavy oil can be cracked, we mostly want to do the coal liquefaction because that gives us the most flexibility and not producing something that we don't need. So for example, if we only needed heavy oil and not light oil or petroleum gas, we would want coal liquefaction because it's mostly producing what we want. So we'll need this when we need petroleum gas, but also when we need to bootstrap the heavy oil into coal liquefaction, which, you know, if you see, right, heavy oil is also an input. This should be self-sustaining. We can do some pump priority to make sure that we are getting the heavy oil produced from coal liquefaction back in here, but we need a way to bootstrap it. And so I think the easiest way is to probably just do some regular oil processing in here. This is going to end up, we're going to move this, and I guess we might as well put the productivity modules in here as well. We are going to offset this by 1 and maybe slide it back a little bit. Okay. Now, what else do we have? Oh, I wanted to check the robot frames. That's right. Where are they? Where are our robot frames? Here they are. Okay, so we're still in needing just 1. Okay, good. All right, now the vast majority of stuff here is going to end up needing, like, we have a bunch of stuff that's going to need 8 modules. And so if we have these 3x3 entities, right, like an assembly machine, an assembling machine, or a chem plant, we can put them between rows of beacons like this, and they will be able to get advantage, right? If I highlight this beacon, right, all 4 of these beacons and all 4 of these beacons, we can see the white highlight around the assembling machine, right? This one doesn't, but these 4. So, and we can stack them like this, where we can reuse the beacons for multiple machines. And so this is really, I think, the most compact way and most module efficient way to sort of build stuff out. So, so let's just do a little bit more placement. And I want to see how many rows of this stuff we're going to end up needing. Now, the other thing is, just for compactness sake, I think most of these are going to end up looking like I'm going to have a requester chest for my inputs, and I'm going to have a passive provider chest for my outputs. And so I actually don't need more space than this between the lines of beacons for most stuff that's going to be in here. And so that'll save us a little bit of vertical space. Okay, so let's copy this. Looks like we need to get more beacons in here. But for right now, I just want to count. So it's okay if we're out. All right, great. So let's go back and let's find... All right, I'm going to take these out for a second. Let's see. Let's start at the top. Which things are going to need beacons? Okay, so one is only going to need... Let's see, this one's only going to need 4. So that's interesting. But I actually want to... Let's maybe start... Let's see, where do the beacons leave off? Down here, the speed modules. All right, they're way down here. Okay, so here's the bottom one. Okay, so that's cracking related stuff. Okay, so that will go probably up in here. We'll do other chem plant related stuff, I think, over in this area. And so there will be room for the ones that need additional beacons. There will be room for it sort of up above here. So that's okay. Good. And then what's next? Then that's all the cracking stuff. We just talked about that. This one doesn't need one. Okay, so the first thing is really going to be, we're going to need 13 electric furnaces making iron. Okay, so let's get an electric furnace in here. Right now I'm not going to worry about the beacons yet, but we do need to move this over, right, where it can get, why are you not, you do impact him. Right, okay. So you're going to need to be there, and we're going to mark you as being iron. All right, you're going to make iron plates. Whoops, if I say yes, you can make iron plates. And then we need 13 of these. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, let's look at what else is down here. Probably copper. Okay, we need 9 of those. Okay, so this was 13, so we need this much for copper. And I think it's pretty clear we're going to need another row of these beacons. I guess we'll put those there. That's fine. Okay, and these are going to be copper instead. Hello. All right, copper. Okay, so that'll be the coppers. Then what's next? Then we've got 3 for copper cable. Those strike me as good to put next to the copper. So you are going to make these. All right. What else do we have? Scrolling on up, we're going to need 2 green circuits. So we'll do those. Green circuits. Okay. We're going to need 6 for steel. I guess we can try sticking those over here. You're going to be steel. I don't know that this is where I want these to end up yet. All right, so that's 3, and then that makes 6. Okay, that takes care of steel. We need 1 plastic. And let's see, where do we want to put that? Maybe the plastic will be up here with the other stuff. So let's put a plastic up here. I need a chem plant for that. These probably are worth leaving the extra room for the pipes and stuff. So so we're gonna need. Does this fit up in here? Not quite. But if I slide it over, I can just slide it over. Okay. So that's. Oh, wait a minute. Oh no, these are too close. Okay, like that. All right, so this one's going to be plastic. All right, don't need that one yet. All right, that's plastic. Okay. The engines can probably go down here somewhere, because they can sort of drift off the top row of beacons here. So we'll mark you as engines. What next? Okay, 6 red circuits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you are red circuits. And good, why these modules are not lined up. Okay, that's because this needs to slide over 1. All right, that's good. That's all the red circuits. This stuff will be up in the chemical area. We're going to need 2 blue circuits. Those also take a fluid input, so those might also be good to put up here in some order. So these will be the blue. And we'll put these over here. Let's see. What else do we have? Then, all right, maybe we need to come back around to do the cracking stuff. Okay, so the cracking stuff, ooh, look at that. We're gonna need two of these. Let's see, we're probably gonna end up with storage tanks for the 3 outputs, like over in this way somewhere. And so then these will come the rest of the way over here. We will put, looks like we need 2 for this cracking. Let's see, we should probably slide these over. We're going to need 1 of this cracking. Okay. The lubricant will be up here. We don't need modules for it, or we don't need as many modules for it. Okay, that's good up there. We may need the, what else has to go up in here? We're going to need 8 beacons for all of the module stuff. Oh, wait. Oh, because I didn't add it to this one. Okay. All right, so so that means we would potentially, I don't think it's going to fit up there. I don't think it's going to fit up there. We need the 6 module production ones. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to need a one of these. We're going to need one of these. We're going to need the level 2 and the level 2, and we're going to need the level 3 and the level 3. Okay, these can all shift down by 1 to there, right? You can still reach him. 2, 3, 4. I guess we can slide it even. No, you just all right, that's fine. That's as far as over as you can get. And these are we're gonna have to cover all of these with beacons as well. Something like that. Okay. What else needs beacons? Did we do the robot frames yet? We didn't do the robot frames. So that would probably be in here. Robot frames. And then we did all those. We didn't do beacons, but that's okay. We did all those. Oh, we actually don't need beacons for those two, so that's good to know. So we're gonna pick these up. And I think it's still good to sort of have them. We can move this one over. But it's good not to use we want to avoid using as many modules as we can. All right, does that cover most things? We're gonna need electric engines down here. What else? Batteries. The rest of these things can just use whatever modules we have sitting around, I think. All right, I think that covers it. Let's see. We should actually probably be sticking the productivity modules in this stuff so that we can count them. I kind of want to count. I kind of want to get a count of stuff. So we want this. We want all this productivity module out the wazoo. We just ran out. Fortunately, we've got a bunch up here. How are we doing up here? You can get. Let's get. We've got ghostly speed modules and beacons, so I'm not too worried about that. I just want to get all the productivity modules in so we can count them, like I said. Okay, so let's get these. We can put those together like that. These are all going to have them. And these are going to have them. Or at least as many as we can get. We're going to need a sulfuric acid and a sulfur with beacons. So sulfur, sulfuric acid. These may not be their final resting places, but I just want to get a sense. These we all did. All right, we did all of this, and none of these need any modules or beacons. Okay, we're gonna have 2 making rocket fuel. Rocket fuel. Let's count those. 1 making sticks. And what else do we have beacons on? The stone bricks, we just need 1 of those. I could probably just we could probably squeeze it here. Because I don't think did it even need any speed modules? It didn't, so. So you can just become a stone brick maker. But you will need productivity modules. And then 1 chem plant making this guy. Okay. All right. All right, this is exciting. So what I want to do now is I want to count what's in here. Okay. Okay, so this has 204. This has 204 speed module 3s and 171 productivity module 3s. So at 1 a minute, this is actually going to take, wow, this is going to take over 3 hours to make this. So that seems not great. But I think if we try to do any more than this, we're going to have downstream effects of just like massively increasing the resources. So I think I may just want to live with this is just going to be a 3-hour process, and we'll just have to build more mining cells to cut into it. I mean, by the time we're at 4, like we'll be able to build a new mining cell every 45 minutes. So all right, I'm going to say that's going to be what we're going to look like here, I think. And then we'll have to, put in all of the assembling machines for all the rest of it. Okay, so I'm going to say this is what we're going to start with, and we're just going to rely on mining productivity to make sure that our mining doesn't run out eventually, and if we need to just wait around to build more mining cells, then so be it. Okay. I think we're going to wrap up the episode here for right now. I think having done this planning here, and by the way, where was that blueprint that we just took? Oh, I didn't save it. Oh, that's okay. Here, grab it again. This has 102 beacons, so that is about half. This is a little more than 3/4, so maybe we bump this up. It's 17/20, so it's 0.85 on this guy. No, that's not what I wanted to do. No thanks. I wanted to adjust you to be 0.85. That might have changed some of our resource needs. No, we're still at 13 and 9, so that's okay. All right, so that helped. We'll see. These, we may position them if we have extra modules sitting around. We may go ahead and position them in the in with the beacons, and they may go a little faster. And we'll see if that lets us speed up. But I think we're going to be constrained on some of this other stuff down here. So. All right, but we have now just created several problems for future Mystic Fish, including figuring out how to lay all of this stuff out. But I feel good. I feel like this is a reasonable plan. I think we have enough room to fit the rest. We have enough room to fit it all. and we may have to wait for all of the modules to be produced, but I'm kind of okay with that, especially waiting around for the productivity modules. Just they're going to be. I think we're just going to need them to cut down on the train traffic in the whole base, and it's going to be worth it to wait for building all of these things. And we'll spend the speed modules to help keep this compact in here as we go. So let's see. Next time, I think we're going to start over here, and we're going to get into the oil processing. So we'll start off with that. I think next time, and then we'll see how far we get into things. So, we'll save that for next episode. So that's it for now. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Until then, bye.